The years went by, and came a couple of years later, and the war broke out. And I remember the manager saying to me, "Don't you get doing anything silly, because if you do, you're like volunteering, you're a key man, I've got to keep you." I said, "All right." Because my mother was very pleased about this, because it kept my father all through the previous. I was actually the fourth generation of the family to work for this firm, you see. And however, I was very, very discontented by the way in which we were treated. They had a habit of picking your brains and then giving you nothing for it. This was their way. If you were clever enough to do things, they would let you. And then afterwards they would take the product of your ingenuity and use it for their own ends, and you had nothing at all for it. And I felt that this was wrong. And so I joined a trade union. Whereupon this manager said to me, "I'm not having your trade union dictating to me." I said, "All I'm wanting is what I believe is fair." But on the 15th of November that year, I had a medical. And on the 15th of January, the following year, 1940, I was in the army. But you see, there is a God who has his hand upon those who trust him. They're not perfect people. They're just sinners, but they trust in God and his providence holds their life. This has been my experience, and this story bears this out. And so into the army I went. And I remember when I went into the battery office at Brill, the sergeant major said, "What was your job?" And I told him. He said, "I thought that was a reserved occupation." I said, "So did I." Well, without asking for it, after having done 5 weeks basic training, I learned that they'd put my name on orders to go on a course. I wasn't trained, but on the course I went. And while I was on that course, Dunkirk happened, and France fell. And the day that I finished the course and went back to the depot at Brill was the same day that the men who had been in my hut when we were started training, it was the same day as they got back from France. But I had mercifully been spared it. And then, that was in the June of 1940. In 1940, July, I was posted to Catterick. All I saw of Catterick was the station. The colonel was there, and he split up this draft of men to different batteries of the regiment, and I was sent to a place called Thirsk. Never heard of it in my life. You see, I came from the county that Wales didn't want and England wouldn't have. They used to call it Monmouthshire. Now they've given it back its ancient Welsh name of Gwent. So this was a foreign land to me. Anyway, we were put in a wagon and off we went to Thirsk. And I was put into a camp on the Stockton Road, Stony. Well, I thought on the Saturday night I'd go out exploring. One of the things was to try and find a place of worship. And I went looking round Thirsk. Well, of course you know Thirsk, there's not much of it. And I remember standing in Castlegate and looking up Primitive Methodist Chapel. I didn't know anything about Methodists. Oh, well, I'll go there. And so I went there on the first Sunday night. And when I got in the pew, of course, it was the old usual horseshoe gallery, you know, and the choir sat behind the pulpit in front of the organ. And I sat alongside a lad from the same camp. And as the choir filed in, he nudged me and he says, "Take your eyes off the choir." Well, I didn't think a lot of that service, but the following Sunday I went to York, trying to find the brethren that I'd been brought up with. I wasn't very impressed with that either. It was pretty dead. Following Sunday night saw me back at Castlegate. And up into the pulpit came this short, dark man. And he gave out his opening hymn. I might not have known the words, but I knew the tune. And I was up in the gallery. I'd got brave, went up in the gallery. And of course, I started to sing. And during one hymn, I saw a woman turn round and look at me. I thought, "Oh, shut up, love. You're making too much noise." But as I came down the stairs after the service, she says to me, "Would you like to come to Christian Endeavour on Thursday night?" "All right," I said. "Christian Endeavour? Well, it'll be somewhere to go. It'll be somewhere to go." And so to Christian Endeavour I went. And I found, of course, that I was in a Christian fellowship meeting. And I enjoyed it. And there was a girl there who had taken my eye. And afterwards she disappeared, and I thought I'd go for a bit of a walk. And here, along this path that I was walking along, down towards Sowerby, was this girl talking to somebody else. And just as I passed them, they parted with each other, and she was going towards Sowerby, so we walked on together. The following Sunday morning, I was at chapel, and a lady asked me, would I like to come for tea? When I went for tea, I found I was in the same house as this girl. It was the minister's wife, and she was the minister's daughter. If I'd known, of course, I'd have had far more caution. But you see, it was the overruling providence of God. The overruling providence of God. Because that would happen in the July 1940. They were moving out of the First Circuit into the Borough Bridge in the September of 1940. Oh, well, that's not so bad. I know where Topcliffe is. It's only 4 miles from Thurles. And so, of course, we were able to keep in touch. And then one morning in October, I turned out for PT. And when I got back in, somebody said, "Hey, the quartermaster's been after your kit." I said, "My kit?" He said, "Yes, you've got your ticket." I said, "Get away." He said, "You have. You've got your ticket." So I went to see the quartermaster. And he said, "Yes, see the major after breakfast. I want your kit. You're going home." So I went to see the major, and he showed me. I said, "Who have I got to work for?" He said, "Here's the firm." I said, "I'd rather stay in the army, sir." Well, he said, "Lad, it's your release. You may as well take it. You can always come back if you can't get on." And so home I went. Having just met this young lady, I had to go home.